65 years old. He would allow you his apartment rent-free, and you would take care of him.
Baytown 911, what's the address of your emergency?
All I did was give.
Because you're a caregiver.
Yes.
You say that this was your passion.
Yes, it's my passion.
A disabled senior citizen is murdered on his caretaker's watch.
Hi, we're at the property at Providence at Baytown, Briarwood, 1711 James Bowie. I'm with the leasing office. We believe one of our residents might have passed away.
Day and night.
Yes.
You weren't getting paid, so...
I did it all out of the kindness of my heart.
You really did?
Yes, I did.
But was Alicia Keator really a victim herself or a cold-blooded co-conspirator?
In the fall of 2017, you get a good job offer to take care of a severely disabled man, 65 years old. He would allow you to live in his apartment rent-free, and you would take care of him day and night.
Yes.
You weren't getting paid, so...
I did it all out of the kindness of my heart.
You really did?
Yes, I did.
Baytown 911, what's the address of your emergency?
All I did was give.
Because you're a caregiver.
Yes.
You say that this was your passion.
Yes, it's my passion.
A disabled senior citizen is murdered on his caretaker's watch.
Hi, we're at the property at Providence at Baytown, Briarwood, 1711 James Bowie. I'm with the leasing office. We believe one of our residents might have passed away.
He was trying to scheme to get his SSI benefits.
She now claims her abusive common-law husband forced her into the brutal crime.
When you realized he was after the old man's disability checks, what did you do? Or were you in on that too?
He told me if I didn't help him, then I was next.
And you did help him?
Yes, I did.
But was Alicia Keator really a victim herself or a cold-blooded co-conspirator?
I watched the 2.5-hour police interrogation of you.
We don't kill people, we sell drugs, that's why.
You don't look at all like a woman who's just been saved from a sadistic killer. How do you explain that?
You can't.
You're looking more like a hardened criminal who doesn't really care. Are you really the victim of domestic abuse or a dangerous sociopath participating in the murder of the man that you were taking care of?
Well, if we call it that.
So much for your career in caretaking.
Some murders slip into the night, quiet and cruel. This was one of those cases. It happened in Baytown, Texas, to an elderly man so utterly alone and forgotten, there isn't a single surviving photograph of him. Alicia Keator pled guilty to murdering the 65-year-old disabled man on Christmas in 2017, along with her then partner. It would take over a week for anyone to even notice.
For such interesting videos, do subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like and comment and do give your answer as well. You will find it in the next video.
Puts him underneath the bed, covers his feet up with a laundry basket and blankets, gets out and padlocks the door.
You tell investigators that Gilbert told you to do nothing and just watch, right? To which you said, what? According to you telling the police, you said, okay. That makes it sound like you stood by and did nothing to help the man that you were caring for as your patient.
Right.
Did you ever go in and try and calm Marcus down or call?
There was no calming him down. When he got his mind set on something, that's exactly how it was gonna roll.
Fernandez was dead, or so they thought. But then a half hour later, while cleaning up the crime scene, Gilbert and Keator hear muffled sounds from John's bedroom.
So you hear a noise from John. Now you guys know he's not dead, right? He's in there fighting for his life, trying to get the tape off, trying to breathe.
He unlocked the padlock. He said, he's trying to get out, he's trying to get out. And I said, well, let him get out. And he hit me upside the head and told me to help tie his feet together.
With the duct tape?
Yeah, with the duct tape. And to do his hands with the duct tape.
Right. And you did help him with the duct tape?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Were you not hysterical, crying, screaming that the man in your care was just murdered for nothing?
No, I was crying and shaking and trembling.
This time, Gilbert, with Keator by his side, finishes the deadly job. John Fernandez was gone.
You help clean the scene, and then you flee together. At that point, were you not looking for a way to escape from Marcus and get yourself to safety?
At that moment in time, I didn't know what to do because he was in control of everything.
But the evidence suggests otherwise. Video surveillance shows both killers calmly preparing to leave the scene of the crime.
You know, we see the video of you two packing up to leave after the murder. You don't seem at all the slightest bit under duress. Very relaxed, going back and forth, carrying stuff to the car. Have you seen that video?
I haven't seen anything that they had.
I see.
Because I was in county, so.
I see.
They didn't show me anything.
Well, there is this video of the two of you after the murder packing up to leave, and you seem cool as a cucumber.
Together, Keator and Gilbert flee the crime scene. And 5 days pass before neighbors realize they haven't seen Fernandez for a while. His shadowy caretaker and her common-law husband are now long gone.
Baytown 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, we're at the property at Providence at Baytown, Briarwood, 1711 James Bowie. I'm with the leasing office. We believe one of our residents might have passed away.
What's the name of the resident there?
Mr. John. We call him Mr. John. He's in a wheelchair, but we have not seen him in 2 weeks. And we opened his unit, and there's a very strong smell, but none of our workers have the courage to go in.
Once we made entry into the apartment, we could see where a padlock was on the door. We observed 2 mattresses that was pulled back, and Mr. Fernandez's body was found next to a bed.
Sergeant Craig Green from the Baytown Police Department was a lead detective on the case.
We could observe that his hands and feet were tied by cords, and also his face, his eyes, his nose, and his mouth were duct taped.
When I got here to deliver the mail, the day they found him, the cops were here. You could just tell when the cops came out, you could see by the look on their face that it wasn't good. And I knew immediately when they went in. I was watching, and it was sad.
Once we cleared the crime scene, we had other detectives out talking with neighbors. One of the neighbors said a black male and a Hispanic female was seen in and out of Mr. Fernandez's apartment.
Police soon identified the 2 suspects as Gilbert and Keator.
Speaking with those neighbors further, they gave us a nickname of Skunk. One of our detectives started researching the name Skunk, and in our system found Marcus Gilbert by that nickname. We continued the investigation and learned that Alicia Keator was an acquaintance of Mr. Gilbert. So at that point, they became persons of interest.
But by then, the 2 fugitives were on the run.
We kept getting from informants that they see them in different locations. By the time we get there, they were gone.
For more than 2 weeks, the couple hid out in cheap motels, doing drugs and petty crimes.
How did you find out that you were murder suspects?
I read it on Facebook, and they had a mugshot of me.
But Keator now claims she was essentially being held captive with no way out.
You spent 17 days
Finally, the police caught up with the suspects at a roadside motel and placed them under arrest.
You later said that Marcus had beaten you shortly before the police arrived, and that you wished that they had gotten there sooner, right? You must have had a sense of relief, if not rescue, at that point?
Yes, and I was scared at the same time not to move or to breathe because I had guns at my head.
Sure, but at least you were being removed from the clutches of this madman, right?
Yes.
All along, Keator insisted she was a victim and a hostage of Gilbert's. But in police custody, she doesn't act like it. Instead, she appears indifferent, even bored, as she waits for the police to interrogate her.
I watched the 2.5-hour police interrogation of you. You don't look at all like a woman who's just been saved from a sadistic killer. How do you explain that? Are you really the victim of domestic abuse or a dangerous sociopath?
You know these horizontal wrinkles? Did he have, ballpark, did he have 1 or 2, or was it like 3 or 4?
Probably at least 3.
The death of 65-year-old John Fernandez left almost no trace, and not a single image of the kind-hearted disabled gentleman. His former caretaker, Alicia Keator, was living with him at the time and implicated in his murder, along with her then partner, Marcus Gilbert. In 2018, the two were arrested and placed in separate interrogation rooms.
As soon as we arrest them, we split them up because we don't want them to hear what the other one says. If they're both involved, the other one don't know what the other one is saying. So they want to basically try to make themselves look better during the interview. That's what we wanted to do with them.
I watched the 2.5-hour police interrogation of you, right? Do you remember how you felt at that point?
I felt lost and distraught.
You don't look at all like a woman who's just been saved from a sadistic killer. You don't look particularly distressed or even worried. At the beginning, you're in the room by yourself. You know, they do that on purpose to watch and see how you react, right? Some people start bawling or sweating bullets, frantically fidgeting around. But you're in there literally holding your head up with your hands like you're bored. Here you are, suspect in a murder case, and you look as cool as a cucumber. How do you explain that?
You can't.
You're looking more like a hardened criminal who doesn't really care than a woman who's just been saved from a madman. Constantly yawning, what was that about? Is that a nervous reaction or just whatever attitude?
Nervous.
Initially, when she first came in, she was very defiant. She was like not a care in the world. She was as if we was wasting her time, that we had the wrong person.
Tell me again how we're all handled. Be specific. Okay?
Why do I gotta go through it again?
Because I want to make sure I have it.
I'm not going through it again. I already told you once. I'm not going to do it.
When you start talking, it's not about how he abused and threatened you, but it's a bunch of lies about John being alive when you and Marcus left him.
When's the last time you were over at his place?
Let's see. Right there before Christmas. And at that time, he was still alive.
Do you remember that? If you didn't conspire to murder John, Alicia, why would you have fed the police this cover story rather than just tell them the truth?
I don't know.
At that point, you're safe in police custody. Marcus is also in custody, surrounded by armed police officers. I don't understand why you wouldn't have just told them what you knew at that point rather than repeat the cover story that you knew was not true.
Because I was trained to say that versus what I'm able to tell you now.
trained
by Marcus to say what I needed to say.
You even laugh when you're telling investigators, we sell drugs, we don't kill people. We. Do you remember that?
We don't kill people, we sell drugs. That's why I don't understand it.
When we talk about, like, how if y'all had, any drugs that y'all found, we would know, but that's us. But as far as killing people, that's not us.
Yes, because that's what our little job was at the beginning when I first met him.
But why are you maintaining the lie at this point? That's hard to understand.
It didn't hit me, to be honest, for, I say, a good 6 to 9 months when everything came crashing on me.
I mean, do you think these are the actions of a woman being forced to act? It sounds more like the actions of a willing accomplice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can sense that Keator's defenses are beginning to crumble in our interview. But during her interrogation, she held fast to her lies until police showed their cards.
Now you're about an hour into the interview. The cops know a lot more than you realized, right? They've got video of your movements in and out of the apartment. They have John's belongings that you two left. They have Marcus throwing you under the bus. And the detective puts it to you pretty bluntly, says, so you two are the last with
to
John.
See him alive.
Right?
So the last 2 people who've seen with John when he was alive is you and Marcus. Okay. No one else is coming and going until the police get there a week or so later and discovered him deceased,
What they say?
tied up, duct tape in his bedroom, right where y'all last left him. Looks like y'all had something to do with it, correct?
To which you say,
Yes, it does.
and even then you don't seem that bothered. The cops are like, now they're lowering the boom on you, right? And your husband is pointing the finger at you.
So when I come in the door, I with my bag, I go towards the room, I look, and she showed me back. With young lady said, I said, what the have you done?
I'm gonna tell you straight up, right? Marcus said you did every bit of it.
Whatever.
He said he didn't touch that old man.
Whatever.
He said...
You're just coolly and calmly pointing the finger back at him.
He killed him, I didn't kill him.
And what did he do?
What do you mean, what did he do?
What did he do?
Stomped on him a couple of times and tied him up and duct taped him. And put him right underneath the bed, covered him up and made it look like he wasn't in. And then he put the padlock on the door in there.
Why did he do all this?
Because he has a really bad temper.
You go on lying about your role. They ask you, did you help tie up John? No, I didn't.
Did you help tie John up?
No, I didn't.
Did you help duct tape him? No, I didn't.
Did you help duct tape him up?
No, I didn't.
Those were lies, right?
Yes.
Eventually you admit that you did help with the duct tape, and you admitted that you did go into the room where John was being tortured to talk to him.
The only time he wanted me to help him was when he was laying on the bed the first time he tried to duct tape it. He said, get the duct tape. I grabbed the duct tape.
Can you account for these contradictions, Alicia?
The fact that I was not in the right state of mind, but I also said those because it felt secure to me to lie versus to tell the truth because I didn't know what was going to happen if I told the truth.
The truth is that long before the murder of John Fernandez, Keator was grifting off vulnerable victims, taking what she could and moving on.
Are you really the victim of domestic abuse or a dangerous sociopath? Participating in the murder of the man that you were taking care of?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Keator's claims of innocence seem now to be weakening, but she's still clinging to them, so it's time to ramp up the pressure.
You also have a long history of grifting, using people for a place to stay or whatever else you could get out of them. Even Marcus, you told police at one point you were using him for a place to stay.
I was.
With John, were you and Marcus setting up the grift under the guise of caretaking for a vulnerable, disabled man? He gave you a roof over your head, but it seems like you all wanted the little bit of money he was living on, too.
I didn't want nothing from him. I already got plenty by having a roof over my head.
One of your friends told police that you guys wanted, quote, a meal ticket. Is that it?
No, not on my part.
You called Fernandez's neighbor asking if she had seen Fernandez, knowing full well that he was dead in the apartment. That's so conniving, Alicia. It's an act of commission for somebody who claims to not have been involved in the murder and acting under duress. It starts to look like you're much more of a willing accomplice than Marcus's victim. Can you understand that?
To a certain extent.
It sounds more like the actions of a willing accomplice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So much for your career in caretaking.
When she was saying everything that DeMarcus Gilbert did, she would not look at us. When someone is telling the truth, they're looking you eye to eye and want you to know that they're telling the truth. And a lot of times when somebody's not telling the truth, they would not make eye contact. She had all the signs of not telling the truth.
More than an hour into our interview, it was still not clear if Alicia Keator was finally ready to accept the truth.
You take responsibility for your role?
Or if this was just another attempt to convince me, and maybe herself, that she was a victim and was dealt an unfair hand.
Do you think you got a fair sentence?
I don't think I did.
The biggest surprise of the interview was about to unfold.
He covered his head like that and then stomped on him and then took it off the first time. And then the second time he hits him right here in the chest and then he covers him up and stomps on him again.
Under the harsh light of interrogation, Alicia Keator finally admitted that Marcus Gilbert, with her help, had killed John Fernandez.
I was already terrified of it as it was.
But then Keator claimed she was only helping because she was under threat by Gilbert.
I think after we confronted her about her involvement in the murder, that's when she started portraying herself as a victim and that she only did things because she was afraid of Gilbert.
There's been 3 or 4 times where we've gotten into it and he's tried to choke me to death.
I think she tried to minimize her part. Still to this day, I don't know if she told the exact truth of her complete involvement. We know that she was involved, but as far as everything she did, no, I think she left a lot out.
At best, you watched and stood by while your patient was lying there with a diaper and hospital socks, being tortured. At best. More likely, you were both trying to rob him of his disability money and participated in the murder. Is that the truth of this?
No.
Only you and Marcus really know the truth of who played what role in murdering John, but one thing is for certain. You did nothing to help the man that you claim you cared for out of the kindness of your heart.
That's the part that messes me up, is because I couldn't render aid.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
Wasn't allowed to.
I don't doubt that Marcus Gilbert beat you, Alicia, but it also seems clear that you were at least an accomplice to this murder. Both things can be true at the same time, are they?
Yes.
Finally, an admission. Keator concedes that she was in fact a co-conspirator.
So you were a predator and John was the prey.
Well, if we call it that.
For most of our interview, Keator deflected blame onto Gilbert, insisting he bore responsibility. But by the end, her tone shifted, subtly, almost imperceptibly. until it settled into something quieter, heavier.
You take responsibility for your role?
Of course, I'm not doing nothing to help him. Yes, I do.
It was as if she had finally resigned herself to the grim truth that the blood on her hands belonged to the very man she was meant to protect.
But more than that, as an accomplice to the crime?
Both Gilbert and Keator ended up pleading guilty to murder. Gilbert was sentenced to 60 years behind bars, while Keator got away with just 25. A punishment she now insists did not fit the crime, but not at all in the way I was expecting.
Do you think you got a fair sentence?
I don't think I did.
You got 25 years, mostly because you fully snitched. Was all the information you provided true?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it calculated to save yourself?
No, it wasn't calculated to save myself.
You got a great deal.
I believe I was blessed, but still I feel like I deserved more.
What more do you want?
More years is what I felt I deserved.
Oh, you think you should have gotten a longer sentence?
Yes.
Oh. I see.
I guess because I feel that that's what I deserve was more time.
Because of your role?
Because I did nothing. I didn't render aid, I did nothing.
But you did participate.
Yes, I did.
You know, doing this job, you try not to personalize cases, but you remember different cases. My partner and I, we've worked many homicide cases together, and this is one we still talk about.
Tell me what to change. It's real easy to change.
He's more thinner up here.
Mail carrier Lindsay Miller saw John Fernandez nearly every day on her route. Now she sat quietly as the friend she once knew took shape again. Line by line, each stroke a tribute, gently restoring his presence to the world.
Can you make him scruffy looking?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
I think maybe if he had that would look more like him. It's crazy how close it looks to what I remember him as. I can just picture him in his chair as I'm walking up. It's crazy. And to know that there's no real pictures of him, it's heartbreaking. I hope people can tell that it's him. The ones that do know who he is. Because he is a friend to many people.
There was no funeral service for John Fernandez, nor eulogy to memorialize his life, nor family plot to lay him to rest. Only this sketch, lovingly recreated, mark a life that depended on the kindness of his caregiver, but was instead lost to her cruelty.